The one thing I think we can agree on is we shouldn't shut down the government over a dispute. And you want to shut it down. You keep talking about it.
The last time, Chuck, you shut it down.
No.
And then you opened it up very quickly. And
20 times.
I don't want to do what you did.
20 times Chuck, you have called for, I will shut down the government if I don't get my wool. None of us have said it.
You want to know something?
You've said it.
Okay, you want to put that on my...
You've said it.
I'll take it.
Okay, good.
You know what I'll say? Yes. If we don't get what we want, one way or the other, whether it's through you, through a military, through anything you want to call, I will shut down the government.
Okay,
absolutely.
fair enough.
And I am proud, and I'll tell you what,
disagree.
I am proud to shut down the government for border security, Chuck, because the people of this country don't want criminals and people that have lots of problems and drugs pouring into our country. So I will take the mantle. I will be the one to shut it down. I'm not going to blame you for it. The last time you shut it down, it didn't work. I will take the mantle of shutting down. And I'm going to shut it down for border
But we
security.
believe you shouldn't shut it down.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Wow, there's like two old New Yorkers fighting over the last bagel. For some reason, after the meeting, Nancy Pelosi reportedly questioned the president's manhood as if things weren't strange enough. And it is unclear which side truly has the upper hand as far as congressional votes are concerned. So will we see a shutdown, and who's going to get the blame? And was today's standoff a sign of wonderful things to come once Democrats take power in the House? Joining me now, he will be one of Nancy Pelosi's subjects here very soon. It's Kentucky Republican Congressman Thomas Massie. Welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Kennedy.
What did you think of that entertaining exchange?
Hey, I'm all for transparency. I think you need more of that. And frankly, I'm in some of these meetings in Congress, and I wish there could be cameras there. If the voters could see what really goes on, it would be better.
Who do you think came out on top of this three-way battle royale?
Well, you know, Trump is in a great negotiating position because the dirty little secret that nobody's discussing in the news is that the shutdown would only shut down one quarter of the government. I don't mean to disappoint conservatives, but so much of the government is already funded, was already funded back in September. The soldiers are already going to get paid for a year. The military is funded, okay? Department of Education, Department of Labor, Health and Human Services, all funded. The VA is funded. So what we're talking about here, really, if Trump does shut it down, if it is his shutdown, we're talking about an extended vacation for NASA workers and the EPA. That's about, I mean, there's not much more than that. It's less than 10% of the government that would not be funded.
Now, I know you have written very tightly worded legislation abolishing entire departments of the federal government. Is there any way, if we have a shutdown like this, you and your colleagues can write something that says that instead of, taking a little bit from here and a little bit from there and, non-critical government workers get a little time off, but they'll get paid eventually. Can we just abolish the Department of Commerce?
Well, we could start there. I would like to get rid of the Department of Education to start with.
That was your bill, and I think it should have passed.
And, the deadline's December 31st, 2018 for it to shut down in my legislation. But look, even that is already funded. Even in this shutdown, if it were to happen, the Department of Education would be funded. That's what nobody is talking about. And to be very serious, the president is in a very good position because if he doesn't blink and if he says, give me the wall or I'm not signing this bill, what happens is the EPA doesn't get funded and some of the Department of Interior and NASA, for instance, and people might not miss it. And that's the dangerous thing for the liberals and the proponents of bigger government is what if nobody cares after 2 weeks that the EPA is shut down?
Yeah, that's always the danger of an ultimatum is someone likes to be single and flamingo. And and that's never a good feeling. Now, the president also threatened to have the military go build the wall. I don't think he can do that. Do you think he can do that?
Practically, he cannot do that. But what I heard him say is I would use the military for border security. So I think he could, as he's done in the past, use them to assist the border agents there. But I don't think they can actually be building a wall. Certainly not a permanent wall. But look,
what if it's one of those temporary walls that's actually built with really good material that's hard to blow down with humans or hurricanes?
temporary walls are very expensive
Yeah,
if it's something that you could take down and put up. But look, the military, back to that point, the military is fully funded for the full year. That's the thing that we did here in the House and the Senate, is Trump is in a very good negotiating position if he wants to drive a hard bargain, because 3/4 of discretionary spending is already funded for a full year, and 100% of the non-discretionary funding. So we're only talking about 1/4% that would not get funded if the president drives this hard bargain and doesn't get his wall.
I know, but you guys really need to tackle the non-discretionary spending.
Oh, well, that's 3/4 of the government right there. It's not even on the table.
Too much.
Yeah.
It should be. Let's get a new table. How about that?
Well, you know, we're supposed to have a speaker for the last 2 years, actually a little bit longer than that. There was chairman of Ways and Means and chairman of Budget and an expert on this type of spending. And
I'm a noodler. Yes, I know how to tinker with numbers. I'm a policy wonk. Oh, cut with my giant scissors.
And
that's
you saw
Paul
what
Ryan,
happened.
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, none of that happened.
Nothing. No.
Nope.
He increased
Zilch.
deficit spending. Good job, Paul. All right, well, Congressman, stay with me, because while funding for the wall is causing major political divisions, the parties seem to be coming together for a different reason, and that is criminal justice reform. President Trump is pressuring Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell to hold a vote on the bill, and today the leader agreed, saying he's going to take it up this month. Today in the Oval Office, the president expressed his delight.
We just got word that Mitch McConnell and the group, we're going to be putting it up for a vote. We have great Democrat support, great Republican support. So criminal justice reform, something that people have been trying to get, how long, Nancy? Many years. Many, many years.
The bill would allow judges a little bit more discretion for reducing sentences for nonviolent drug crimes and eliminate some mandatory minimums. It also includes assistance to help inmates develop skills to readjust to life after prison. So will this get passed before the end of the year, or is Tom Cotton going to go in and screw everything up, Congressman?
I think it's going to pass in the Senate. A version of it has already passed in the House, and the vote was 360 to 59. Now, that version only had prison reform. This version, as you just mentioned, also has sentencing reform. So some of the Republicans get a little queasy at that. They want to lock them up and throw away the key. But you still have a lot of Republicans in the House who would vote for this bill. We've got an expedited process for passing a bill. If we know we can get 2/3 majority, then you don't have to run it through committee and debate it all that time. So we can pass it very quickly in the House with the 2/3 majority if the Senate will pass it. And it's a good bill.
It's one of the few areas where you like to see a bipartisan consensus, because it's really not spending money. It's ultimately about freedom and redemption, and I think those are great things for the Republican Party and either party to embrace. I will give you the last word on anything you so choose, young man.
Well, I say locking people up in prison is like socialism with restrained mobility, right? You're paying for their food, their health care, their housing, their cable TV. And so conservatives shouldn't be for locking everybody up, because it's just like socialism with restrained mobility. And I think judges do need more discretion. Republicans, we're for a Republican form of government. We're for leaving things to the states. And I think we should leave more discretion to the judges so they don't end up locking up people for too long of a period of time. And the more nonviolent people that you lock up, the more violent criminals you have to let go, because there are only so many jails, and it doesn't make sense to build more.
You also take nonviolent people and you turn them into violent people because their lives are irreparably changed by the system. Lock them up. It's a fun thing to say, especially lock her up. It's not a fun thing to pay for. Congressman, always appreciate your time. If we don't see you, Merry Christmas.